Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I am currently on holidays. I'm visiting my family and I'm staying at my grandmother's house, and this place is pretty special for me because it is in this garden that my passion for gardening began. My grandmother, she's like one of the most passionate gardeners that I know, and she will always try to make me more passionate about gardening and always engage me into all kinds of gardening tasks when I was little. So it's pretty special, to be able to come back here to garden with her in this garden, and to also, share with her the things I've learned, my little knowledge and experience, and to, complete some gardening projects with her. So today I have a couple of things that I want to do in this garden. I'm going to be planting some summer bulbs for her. I want to start some seeds for her as well. So I wanted to invite you to join me for this gardening day in my grandma's garden. Before we begin, I'm gonna give you a quick look at the garden. Obviously, there's not much to see yet. My grandma, she gardens in zone 6. So it's pretty cold still out here at this time of year, and the weather changes very rapidly. Like one day it can be really warm and sunny, 20 degrees Celsius, and the next day it's like snowing and it's below freezing. So there's not much to see yet, but let me give you a quick look at her space. Alright, so let's make a quick tour. So here is the front garden. It's a bit hard to see perhaps because it's very sunny out here today, but we have a lot of topiaries in Grandma's garden. She's a huge fan of topiaries, and plenty of hydrangeas up front. I think she has 2 limelights, one over here and one over there, and then here I think this one is a polar bear. I'm not sure, I might be wrong, but there's a plenty of hydrangeas, all paniculatas in here. She also has some hydrangea topiaries. I think these are vanilla fraise. She's a huge fan of hydrangeas. As we turn around, there's a little rock garden over there and more topiaries. She collects rainwater. I think this is so awesome. This is something that I actually wanted to do in my own balcony garden as well, but I'm pretty sure I can't just do it like this. I would need to ask for permission, but this is a really cool system. She collects rainwater and then she can use it to water her garden. And actually those top parts over there, these are pots. She doesn't use them at the moment because it's too cold to plant really anything in it, but in summer she always plants some summer flowers in this. So you take this off and it serves as a pot, as a container. Over here we have a little grouping of plants, just some conifers. We have heaths and we have a rooster. He's so funny. Look how fluffy he is. He follows me everywhere I go in the garden. There he is. And she actually has a chicken coop behind, so she allows the rooster to kind of run free because he's very well behaved, but the chickens are in their chicken coop, and she lets them out like twice a day, but she needs to like follow them around because they do a lot of damage in the garden. They munch on absolutely everything. As I turn around, it's hard to see because of the shadow, but here is a grouping of plants that I planted for her, a little flower bed I designed for her last summer. I planted, so we have the Japanese maple, red Japanese maple over here. We have 3 heucheras, they are orange. Then I planted 2 or 3 blue hostas. And then on this side here, we have some Hakonokoloa grasses. As I turn this direction, more topiaries. My grandmother, she's a huge fan of topiaries. She likes to have fun with conifers and to shape them into various forms. So as I make a turn this way, we have 4 containers. These look absolutely stunning in summer. She always plants those massive begonias in them, and this year we're planting begonias that I actually saved from my own balcony garden, and I brought them here so that she can enjoy them in her garden. There's a kitty, and there's this little patio area over here. All right, now we are gonna go very quickly this direction. We have some more topiaries. These are Taxus baccata, shaped into very funny spheres, and we have a row of rhododendrons behind. Now there's a lot of interesting trees in my grandma's garden. Unfortunately at the moment obviously they're all dormant. We have a beautiful magnolia over there. We have sorbus, a weeping sorbus with those orange berries, very gorgeous. A little well, and they're planted with more conifers. Over here, just a grouping of pots, 2 pots where she usually plants her tomatoes in summer, and we have this absolutely massive euonymus. On this side of the building, as you can see, we have a row of roses, and these roses, I think my grandmother said they are like 30, at least 30 years old. She brought them here from her previous house, and they are still blooming very beautifully. And now this is a very funny story, because my grandmother used to have a row of tuyas. Over here there was nothing, just a row, a hedge of tuyas. But then she started to follow my story with 17 square meters garden, and that is absolutely amazing. She said it inspired her to get rid of all of those tuyas and instead to plant a row of everything. She wanted this row to kind of imitate my balcony garden, obviously on a larger scale. So I'm not gonna go plant by plant because obviously there's too many things in here, but we have some evergreens, we have some perennials, we have a lot of summer bulbs, spring bulbs. Some of these are already blooming, and there's still a lot more to come that's obviously dormant at the moment. Alright, so this is how it looks. We started over there and we have made a turn of the entire property. Alright, so here's our stash of bulbs for today. We are going to be planting most of them in here, but I brought a couple of bulbs for her. She also bought a couple herself. We have gladioli, and now the thing about gladioli is some gladioli can be winter hardy, some are less winter hardy, and I realized that I bought the varieties that are not very winter hardy. I mean, the best idea would be to plant them at about at least 2 weeks before her last frost date, and her last frost date is, I believe, the 15th of May, so it's still very far from now. But she said they should do fine. She usually plants them around this time of year. We have lilies. Lilies are very winter hardy down to zone 3, and we have liatris, which is also very winter hardy. I think the mix of liatris and gladioli, we have more actually, will be very beautiful. So we have gladioli Ajax, we have Priscilla, we have Nori, and we have Coral Crush. One lily, Lily Montego Bay, and we have Crocosmia. And then we have Oxalis as well, not sure where we're gonna plant it yet. And we have some tropical bulbs. We have begonias and canna lilies, which we are not gonna be planting today because it's way too early. We still expect some light frost. So this is what we are gonna be planting here. Alright, so all the bulbs are planted. I'm not sure if they will survive winter because all of these gladiolis that we planted today, they are hardy to zone 7 and we are in zone 6. So we'll see how that goes, but at least you'll have a beautiful flower show here this summer. We also moved these containers over there because she will be growing tomatoes in them, and previously she had them placed kind of randomly in front of the flower bed. So this way I think it makes more sense because they are in there in the corner. She can grow her tomatoes over there and we can enjoy beautiful flowers over here. We have these two left to plant, so I think this will plant in the rock garden, and then the crocosmia will probably go in that flower bed, that long flower bed over there. Alright, we are in the rock garden. It's the area here just up front of the house, and because it's on a slope, obviously the water just runs off. So we planted here a couple of plants that can tolerate drought, like a typical rock garden plants. I actually bought her a ton of plants for this area because she used to struggle. She used to plant like regular perennials in here that wouldn't really thrive, so I suggested her a couple of rock garden and alpine plants, and I planted her the creeping thyme, and it just took over. As you can see, it took almost half of the space. She has some agave, she has some spring flowering bulbs. There's the pushkinia, one of my favorite spring flowers. Little pushkinias doing absolutely beautiful in here. We have some pulmonaria, some crocus, and I think some dianthus over here, and just a couple of other plants. So I'm placing the oxalis kind of randomly in these holes, kind of in between other plants. We have a lot of things, as I said in here, a lot of alpine garden plants, some pulsatilla, some sedum over there, and some senecio and stuff like that. So there's going to be a really colorful mix of all kinds of plants in here. Alright, so all the bulbs are planted, and now I want to start some seeds for my grandmother, because she always starts her seeds directly outdoors, directly in the ground. I think their last frost risk is like mid-May, so she always have to wait until at least mid-May to start most of her seeds. So what I want to do today, I want to start her some seeds indoors, so that by the time that she would normally just start her seeds outdoors, she will be able to already transplant those young plants outside and get a little bit of a head start. Alright, so this is my little seed haul. Let me show you really quickly what we are going to be sowing today. We are going to be sowing some tomatoes. Unfortunately, I ordered more, but I ordered from 2 different companies, and the other ones did not arrive yet. I ordered some micro dwarfs, the exact same ones that I'm growing in my container garden this year, but these did not arrive. So we have Brandywine, which is a beefsteak tomato, absolutely amazing, one of the best beefsteaks out there. Very yummy, great for sandwiches. Black cherry is a black cherry type tomato. These grow pretty tall, so they are probably not the best choice for container gardens, but she's gonna be growing them probably directly in the ground. They are very yummy as well. They are more of a snack tomato, right? And then we have Atomic Sunset. This one is very pretty. I've heard that it tastes well as well. Not only does it look pretty, but it's also very yummy. It has kind of like a black orange skin. Then we have some snapdragons. We have Kimozi Apple Blossom, which is my absolute favorite, especially for container gardens, because it grows very short, only about 15 to 20 centimeters tall. And we have Lucky Lips, another classic that my grandmother has never tried, so I'm very excited to sow it for her. Then we have a whole bunch of nasturtiums. We have just a random mix of nasturtiums, and I brought a couple of more pretty varieties. I mean, these are really pretty as well, but a couple of more unique varieties, so to say. Then we have sunflowers, ornamental sunflowers. We have cosmos, because my grandmother loves cosmos. And then we have, this is just a random envelope, but here we have pom-pom poppies. These are beautiful, they are pink, but these will be started directly in the ground, because poppies hate being transplanted, so they are best sown directly in their final place. So to start my seeds, I purchased these planters, and they come with a little tray underneath. And now I wanted this to be very easy on my grandmother, so normally I would choose a smaller size of containers to start my seeds, but the goal is that I can start the seeds in here, and they will have enough room to grow in these pots until she's ready to transplant them directly in the garden. And then I also purchased these funny containers, and I want to start tomatoes in these, because tomatoes, I want them to be separate, and then she can just grab it and go and plant it in her garden. And the potting mix that I'm going to be using today is Light Mix by Playground. So in this tray I'm going to be sowing nasturtiums, all different kinds of nasturtiums, and I'm also going to be sowing sunflowers in here. So nasturtiums need to be planted pretty deep, because they germinate in darkness. You could cover the tray with something, to provide darkness, but if you plant them deep enough, that's usually enough for them to germinate. And also, I used to soak my nasturtium seeds before planting, but I don't do this anymore, because this year I actually seeded them just straight from the packet, and it worked exactly the same. The whole thing with the soaking of the seeds is just to soften this hard outer shell, but if you keep the soil moist after planting, it kind of works the same way. Alright, so I planted nasturtiums until here, and now let's plant these gorgeous sunflowers. These also have to be planted pretty deep, so I'm gonna poke some holes first, about 2 centimeters deep. Alright, so in this tray I'm gonna be sowing only snapdragons, because I have a lot of seeds. She absolutely loves snapdragons, so I want to seed her those 2 varieties. So I take a toothpick, I dip it in the water, and then it's easier to pick up those tiny seeds. Alright, so all the snapdragons are seeded. I don't cover them with anything, I just place them on top of soil because they need light to germinate. I just need to water everything. The last thing left to sow today are the tomatoes. It's a shame that the micro dwarfs were not delivered yet. Alright, so I'm starting with the Atomic Sunset. And I'm gonna seed about 2 seeds per hole just to be sure that at least one of them germinates. Alright, so all the seeds are planted and tagged. Now I'm just gonna gently water them with a spray bottle to not dislodge the seeds, especially the snapdragons, because they are just on the surface. Alright, so this is our primitive grow light station that I just set up right now. She has absolutely no space in the house where she could possibly set up a proper grow light station. I mean, perhaps with time, but obviously she did not have any equipment for that. So I actually brought my own grow lights with me. I had some extras. I showed you these in one of my houseplant videos. These are full spectrum LED grow lights. I have one other bulb just in case, but I think these two will be enough. Yeah, it covers pretty much the entire surface here, as you may need to rotate them from time to time, but I think this should be just fine. Well, just as I set up this grow light station, these seeds have been delivered, so let's get them started really quickly. Alright you guys, this is gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for spending some time with me in my grandmother's garden today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see each other next week in my balcony garden.